So as Dr. Becerra said, there'll be other presentations and other meetings, and Paul, he'll sit down with you and he'll discuss anything that you want to. We're really trying to do our due diligence to present the best options to the community. And we would really welcome it if you find some time on November 1st to come out and vote yes or no. We would really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. If anyone has any questions?
Any questions? No? All right.
And I see people getting restless. Ms. Lockwood is going to be presenting on our EPC project, an energy performance contract. And you see all our new lights here. We've got new lights going on the stadium field soon. We're really fun. But lots of stuff that are going to basically make us a greener school and save on energy and energy costs and things like that. So I'll turn it over, but if you do need to leave, please feel free.
So just quickly, started the energy performance contract. We went to contract, SCD approved it back in February. And the board actually approved it back in 2018. May of 2020, the voters approved it to allow us to attain additional 10% of building aid in revenue on this project. July of 2021, we submitted it to SCD. The June of 2022, we finally began the work on this project, 2 years in the making. It did take some time. It's a very in-depth process to get there. A lot of engineer reviews that have to be done in order to show that we are saving the energy and that we will maintain that going forward and how we'll monitor it. And we're looking at March of 2022. This past March, we secured the financing for it. We're looking at September, the summer of 2023 to finish it. And a lot of that is due to the fact that parts of material are very hard to get right now. So we're finding a big delay in that area. So just a quick summary of the projects going on. Interior lighting, weatherization, and window film all occurred this past summer. We started in June, and they've been working diligently throughout the summer. They're still trying to finish up some of those. But as Dr. Becerra said, interior lighting have occurred district-wide in every single building. You may have noticed as you walk through some halls, they are dark and they illuminate as you walk through. Classrooms now, the lights will turn off when nobody's in the room for a certain period of time. The weatherization is just weather stripping on all of our exterior doors, any exterior windows that we were showing we were losing heat or energy through. That has now been sealed. And then window film. So all exterior windows have received filming on them. And that is to help prevent so much sunlight coming through. It has a dual impact for us. It will preserve heat from leaving the building. It helps prevent the coldness coming in and holds in that sunlight during the winter months. And it actually will help to prevent deterioration of our furniture moving forward. So if you may remember, along these walls here, we had a lot of cabinetry that was starting to discolor, and a lot of that was due to the sunlight. That will no longer occur as a result of the window film that we placed on all windows district-wide. Exterior lighting, pipe and valve installation, and inverter controllers are happening now. Exterior lighting, you may have witnessed if you've been on the backfields, is going up. Tennis courts has already received all their new lights. The football field is occurring as we speak, should be done, if not by tomorrow, possibly Friday. We were hoping to have it done for tomorrow for the senior soccer game. However, it will not be. We do have temporary lights coming in, so anybody involved in that, it will take place fully lit with no issue. Pipe and valve installation, not very exciting, but again, that's just to help control and keep our heat within our buildings. And then the inverter controllers to make us more efficient in that area. So things that are also looking to happen this fall have not yet started, but we're working on is the AC compressor controllers and refrigerator compressor controllers. Again, nothing exciting, nothing that you'll be able to visibly see, but it's something that our buildings and grounds guys are looking forward to, that they'll be starting to see some efficiencies and ways to handle some things that we've had issues with in the past. The plug load controllers, will be spring of next year. And again, that is basically because of material and supplies. So that's basically just all plugs throughout the district. Computers, everything will be plugged into these in order to shut down computers after a certain period of time. If it becomes 7, 8 o'clock at night and somebody forgot to shut it off, it will actually shut it off for us. So it just starts to save energy and electric costs. Summer of fall of 2023, unit ventilators here at the high school. We do have many issues going on up here, so a lot of those are going to be replaced That has to be done while school's closed and while we're not in heating season. So we're working on those designs and getting those parts ordered now so that we're ready to get that done next year, early in the summer when it is when students are out of the building. The energy management system, again, that's a control system for buildings and grounds guys to use for the air conditioning and heating systems. And then the big one is renewable energy in solar, which is supposed to be the spring and summer of 2023. That is the big project going on behind here at the parking lot. So this is the solar design for the parking lot. The student lot in back and staff lot will be fully covered down the center lanes, you can see there. Providing underneath, there will be lights, which are, it will illuminate in the evening. Again, that's all provided by the solar. So you may start seeing some work slowly begin, and as we do that, we will be notifying the families and students here at the high school because parking will be disturbed a little bit. But the bulk of this project will be done next summer. Again, we are seeing a delay in materials on a lot of these parts. So they will begin the groundwork of digging the trenches because they do have to connect from the back all the way to throw in order to have the connection work with PSEG. This is just a front view looking underneath what the solar lot looks like. This is high enough for a coach bus to fit under. School buses. A benefit to this is we will not have to plow as much in the summer, in the winter months. Our grounds crew is very excited. It should help alleviate a lot of time that they take to clear the lots, which is huge, as bulk of it will be covered in the back of the parking lot. That's it. Any questions from the board?
No.
Solar will be done, George.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, because it was probably mid-90s when we voted on this.
I
I think it was just 2 years ago, maybe? The community voted on this, we could have just approved it, but we put it out to you because we got, our rate is about 67% we get reimbursed from the state. But because we put it out, you guys came out to vote, we got an extra 10%, right?
Yep.
So we're getting 77% of this reimbursed from the state because you turned out to vote, so.
And the extra 10% is just strict revenue to the district. It doesn't come into account to of all these energy savings costs, so it's just bonus revenue that we'll start seeing once the project's complete.
Yeah, so that was because you guys came out, so thank you for that. And this is gonna zero our energy bill, right?
Close to,
Hopefully.
yes.
Carrie, so with the lighting and a couple of the other improvements, we should already be experiencing lower consumption. Are we, what, to measure that, or are we seeing?
So PSEG, we just filed for all the rebates through PSEG. We are eligible for rebate. It's about just over $80,000 that we'll get this year in rebates because we started and are nearing completion of the project. PSEG is scheduled to come out in the coming weeks to take a look. They have to review everything to make sure we did what we were saying we were doing. And then as a result of that, the rebate will come through. We should start seeing the actual savings reflected within the next month because, as I said, all the interior lighting is done. Obviously, the football field is not on all the time, but when it is used, we will, once that is down there, done. In addition to the exterior, all the light poles out front will be replaced with a solar-generated light pole. So we'll start seeing some things from that as well. So we should start seeing soon some of these impacts cost savings from the
Well, we just, so we've kind of changed this a little bit just so that we can report out. Yeah. Just so we can report out and have something for people to see, we've decided just to put committee updates on here, and again, it's just really, I usually report out, I don't chair all the committees, the only committee that I actually chair is the legislative committee. And we are actually seeking participants on the legislative committee. We have, I think, 3 members other than me, so we really would like additional people on that. But we do have a curriculum committee. Dr. Ryan, you want to just quickly talk about that?
Oh, sure. So in September, we had our first meeting. We had a proposal from the high school for Long Island F. This is a restorative program for students who may have some challenges at the high school, and so it's an alternative way to provide consequences and really educate and try to change patterns in behavior. So the curriculum committee went ahead and said that this they thought was a worthwhile pilot, and so we are currently using that at the high school level. We talked a bit about the peer assessment and some parent academy offerings that we have available for the parents. We talked a little bit about the school to community program pilot. That's in 9th through 12th grade. We have a career-related experience for students in each grade level. Everything from resume and interview skills to exploring Long Island growth careers. We also shared our PYP authorization timeline that we spoke about earlier. And we had our a final review of our professional development plan, which is up for board approval this evening.
Thank you. And as I said, the Parent Academy, the book club is kind of a part of that. And the pair conversations and mental health wellness conversations we had with parents last night was our kickoff to that. The DEI, so
Sure. Good evening, everyone. We met for the first time as a DEI committee on September 22nd. We had a very active committee as part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. One of the things I like to do in the beginning of every, first meeting that we have as a DEI committee is sort of an icebreaker to invite all of the committee members to engage in an activity that explains sort of like the why. And it's from the work of Simon Sinek's that looks at the why in terms of why you're part of the committee, what you hope to accomplish as part of the committee, and some of the tasks you hope that the committee will engage in as part of its work. We also looked at the overview of the work that we did for the 21-22 school year. It was a great year for the committee. We were able to establish 3 committee goals. We were able to accomplish all 3 goals with the support of our building administration, our teachers, our community, and of course the Board of Education. And we looked at the development of the 22-23 goals, which sort of branched out to some of the work that we began last year. We did end with the development of 2 or 3 primary goals that we're going to look at for this particular school year, which is looking at curriculum audit, continuing our equity walkthroughs, and continuing the implementation of our equity and education plan, which is going on our 2nd year now in its development and implementation. We also looked at the professional development plan that we have for the 22-23 school year. I think to date, we've already accomplished 4 particular PD dates that we have a contract with Easton Subcosis to come in and provide us with professional development. They work directly with our teachers, our administrators, and of course, all stakeholders within our community. And we also looked at the overview of the No Place for Hate designation activities that we hope to kind of engage in for this year. For those of you who don't know it, in the community, last year was the first year that we actually had the No Place for Hate designation in all 3 buildings. That was one of the goals that the committee created the previous year, so we were able to accomplish it. I do have to give kudos to the elementary because they actually accomplished it the year before. But last year, we actually accomplished the designation at the elementary, middle, and high school. So we are looking at activities that will continue with our theme, which is going to be, once again, inclusive environments. And we also talked briefly about the possibility of creating theme-based activities throughout the entire district that will be culturally minded and speak of some of the tenets that you heard about this evening regarding open-mindedness and cultural awareness and civic responsibility on the part of our students and colleagues and community at large. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 27th. It's an in-person meeting. We invite anyone to attend. It will be at 6 p.m. at the district board.
Mr. Thode was not able to make it this evening, but he actually chairs the safety committee. He actually had to accompany one of our students who is a swimmer at a meet, and it was a later meet, so he had to actually go to that. But there is, he did a review. The committee met as a part of that. He reviewed the district-wide safety planning initiatives. We talked about building safety updates. We are in the process of implementing a scholarship, which is sort of an ID program that allows kids needs to be scanned into buildings and stuff like that. That is a little bit delayed on our implementation. We thought we'd have it for September, but that will be coming, forthcoming in the next month, in the coming months. And then a review of all our drills and timelines and things that we have to do as per state mandates. Next meeting for that one is November 17th. Health and safety, I think Ms. Loughlin kind of updated us on the energy performance contract work. I already updated on the property purchase, but we are trying to develop also a capital bond committee, and you'll see a slide here. We're looking to, as I mentioned in my presentation, there will be a capital bond committee looking at what are the infrastructure needs and facility needs of our district if we were to pass a capital bond. It's funny, as you drive around, I see West Hampton going for a capital bond on November 17th, Eastport, South Manor just passed one last year. It seems like, they go in kind of cycles where people seem to recognize the need to upgrade facilities on a cyclical basis. And then update on capital reserve. We were very fortunate last year, thanks to the community, we were able to pass a capital reserve resolution and referendum, and we now have a capital reserve. We funded it with $500,000 this year, which is very helpful to support some of our facilities needs. Next one will be October 26th in the District Office Conference Room. Technology Committee, want to do that quick?
Sure.
That's all.
So we met as a technology committee on September 20th. Some of the things we've looked at is that we deployed a laptop to every staff member at the secondary complex. We are getting to the elementary, it's part of our conversation. But we looked at how that working, some of the staff development that we employed as a result of it, and the reason or the rationale for it was to give our teachers, our staff, the ability to engage with our students, engage with one another remotely, from home, in the building, and from any location, any instructional location within the complex. So that is going extremely well. I thank Mr. Milford for engaging in professional development on Superintendent's Conference Day, as he went around to each building and provided teachers with valuable information as to how to utilize the equipment, how to utilize the docking stations that are equipped in each classroom. We also looked at the cybersecurity threat assessment that we began as a district about 2 weeks ago. It is an external and an internal threat in terms of malware. I think everyone in society is hearing all of the attacks that companies and even Suffolk County has suffered from the last few weeks, the last few months. So we are engaging in a cyber threat assessment. We're contracted with a third-party agency for BTS. Mr. Nofi and I are meeting with them every week to kind of give an assessment as to what is happening. So that is going really well. We should have a final report and recommendations to the Board of Education, of course, the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Sarah, by the end of October in terms of what we need to do to kind of strengthen our system as a whole. The last thing we looked at is clever integration for our students. Our students have the ability to engage in different apps, instructional apps that they engage in throughout the day. Clever integration allows them to utilize one password, one login to engage in all of the apps instead of having to find different passwords and different logins. It's something I know for myself. I have a page of all my passwords, and it's probably like 7 pages. So this actually reduces that. So our next meeting is going to be in November, at which time I think we should have the report from core BTS, and we can look at recommendations as to what we can do moving forward.
All right, and as I said, our bond committee is under construction, so if, that's kind of under construction. Bond committee. So if anybody would like to join that, we really are interested in hearing from community members about what we think our highest priorities are for facilities.
Thank you.
I think that's.
You guys are troopers.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions and comments regarding tonight's agenda only? This is only for agenda questions. 3-minute time limit. No? Mr. Speller?
No.
Okay. Board of Education is asked to accept the minutes of the following meetings as prepared by the district clerk. Minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of September 14, 2022. Motion? Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Financial reports, be resolved that the Board of Education file the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools accepts the following financial reports. Treasurer's Report, July 2022, Internal Claims Audit Report, September 2022. Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Yes, motion carries unanimously. Approval of all consent agenda items is presented. Be resolved, the motion to approve consent agenda items 10A through 13A. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. I just have to find 14. 14. Oh, general public comment. So this is if you have questions or comments regarding anything tonight, there's a 3-minute time limit. We do have one person, Mr. Nizam. Did you say that correctly? Okay. How are you?
Very nice, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I called to get on the agenda, and they told me that the agenda was full. So, I came in, I happened to come in on this beautiful night, because usually I'm used to seeing very contentious meetings about bonds and all kinds of things. This is heartwarming, you're being appreciated, which is great, so wonderful. My name is Samir Nizam, I'm from Easterly Group. I'm a neighbor right across the street to the right of here, directly across from the community center. We've owned the property for the last 35 years. We have been active in the community here, and we are exploring the possibility of getting the highest and best use for the property. So we've been talking to the chamber, we've talked to the civics, we've talked to the town, and they're all keeping an open mind. We ask you to keep an open mind. The kids will talk about open mind tonight, so I would ask you to please keep an open mind, because nothing is set in stone. We're just exploring what is the best, and you are most concerned as a neighbor, as a courtesy, as a taxpayer like me. I would like to, ask you to keep an open mind, because I want to see what is the best that be beneficial for the school and the community. As a PTO, you also see the parents and the high school teams, the athletics, and all that stuff. So we have several proposals coming from different companies, eateries that would like to be here, and we haven't really locked in anybody yet. Our property goes from Montauk Highway all the way to Farm Road. And it's the only property that goes on Montauk Highway that has, it's about 3.5 acres. And it's zoned residential now. We're looking to change the zone and put something that's beneficial. It's not gonna be a 7-Eleven, it's not gonna be a high intensity use. So it's going to be something that will be good for the community. We opened this discussion in order to call it a smart development, smart use. We're not landing in a parachute coming in and say, we're gonna do this. We've been working with the town and we've been working with the chamber for several years to try to develop something. And we've seen some development growing up right here, so we want to do something that's very good. So if you would like to set up a meeting with the board, I would be happy to come in and present to you guys. And, come on, because when we go to the town, usually people don't have time to go to the town. So few people go and they say we represent the community, and then they start, which is not true. So I want everybody to have an opportunity to, we'll never please everybody, but we have to get at least a consensus. What would you like to see? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all we have on the list. Anyone else? I feel like you're here so long. You want to say anything? Okay. Informational items. Bond vote for purchase of the Main Street property by Clayton Huey is Tuesday, November 1st in the admin boardroom, 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. Please come and cast your votes. The next Board of Ed meeting is Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. Executive session at 6, action meeting approximately 7 p.m. That will be back in the district office boardroom. Okay. We're going to motion to go into executive session, the purpose of which is discuss, potential litigation. We will come out of exec at some point and adjourn, but we will not be taking any action that we will be voting by the board of ed. Motion, second, all in favor? Thank you, motion carries unanimously. Thank you all for coming and staying. Thank you for staying. We appreciate